What's up, y'all? My name is Jamel Booth. I'm a first-year directing student at the Northwestern University. Point of the series is to get black people to get their MFAs. Period, point blank. Somebody did it for me, which I'll explain in greater detail in this video. So I want to do it for others because a lot of times we feel like we can't make it into institutions like this, and there's a lot of reasons why, but I'm here to reverse all of that because it's not true and we belong in these spaces. Today's video is about how I got to where I am now, what steps I took, where I worked, what I did, where I applied to, how I got to Northwestern. For undergrad, I went to the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, also known as FAMU, and I majored in business and theater. And on the theater side, they never really spoke to us about going to grad school and getting your MFAs. Like, they kind of did. Sometimes they mentioned the name to us, ERTA, but it wasn't anything that was necessarily like pushed, which I feel like is super important, especially as an educator. Every summer I would go back to Miami and work at this place called the African Heritage Cultural Arts Center. And I was a teacher for musical theater and acting, and I taught kids from like ages 3 to maybe like 17, 18, I don't know. And I would just do shows on top of shows, on top of shows, on top of shows, on top of shows, on top of shows. I even did Hamilton there. And it was there that I met Oscar Award-winning Terrell Alvin McCraney, and he saw me, saw that I was talented and had a gift, and he took me under his wing. So one day, Terrell overheard this white lady talking to me, and she was like, you know what? You are really good at what you do, and I feel like you can go to grad school and get a master's. And I went to Columbia, and a theater management degree would be so great for you. Girl, what? And Terrell overheard her, and he was just like, or you can go to Yale for directing. And I was like, Yale? Me? And he was just like, yeah, you're talented enough, so I don't see why you wouldn't get in. And that really flicked something in my brain for me. He let me know that it was free. He let me know that you get a stipend, and Yale, free, stipend, music's in my ears, right? No brainer. And a lot of us, especially when we were younger, I know me, when I was much younger, I was like, I want to go to Juilliard for undergrad. And my parents were like, okay, but what does Juilliard cost? Because I know that school's in New York. I know it's expensive. Unless you have a full ride, don't look like you going to Juilliard. And that can be so discouraging. And a lot of these like top schools that we hear and think about, most of them, unfortunately, are white that we have to go to. And it's unfortunate because black schools have not discovered a way to have a BFA program, to the exception of Howard, and MFA programs too. But that's another story for another day. But from that point on, my mind was like, okay, you're going to Yale for directing, Jamel. You're going to Yale for directing. You're going to Yale for directing. Now, for directing programs, at least the top ones, you have to wait at least 2 years until after you graduate from undergrad before you can apply so you can get your resume up. So I was just building my resume, but I was building my resume through working with the youth, which I was doing a great job. But projection from other people made me feel like the work I was doing with the youth, like, oh, it's cute, but it's not good enough. As a young black director, it is very hard to find spaces that people are just going to freely allow you to come in and create and practice and do what you do. But I found my solace through working with children. And so much to the point that I started working at my own alma mater as a high school theater teacher. And girl, I was killing it. No, like dead ass, we had the #1 program in the state of Florida. Thanks to God and my creative vision. But all in all, to get into Yale, I did not think that would be good enough nor sufficient. But the reason I didn't think it would be good enough or sufficient because other people made me feel like the work I was doing was not good enough or sufficient. So much to the point that when I was in school, before I even started working at my high school, when I was considering doing it, I called Yale, the director of the program. She picked up the phone and was like, hello? Hey girl, my name is Jamel Booth. My mentor is Terrell Alvin McCraney. Oh my God, Terrell! Yes, he works here. I love him. He's great. Yeah, girl, I know. I just have some questions about your program because I really want to apply and I really want to go there. So yeah. Jamel, I never usually am in this office. I never have time to pick up this phone. But for some reason, I picked it up today and I'm going to give you the time of day. Ask me away. And I just went down the whole 9 yards. But the main question I had for her was my experience as a theater teacher, teaching the youth, putting on shows. Will that be good enough to put on my resume for you all, or do I just need to work in big theaters or whatnot to make it? And shout out to Liz Diamond at Yale. She was like, well, Jamel, the shows you do with children, are they good? And I was like, girl, yeah, they're the bomb. Do you get paid for it? Thanks to Terrell, I get paid very well for it. And she was like, well, I see no reason as of why that wouldn't be good enough to put on your resume to apply here and something you're passionate about. And we want to meet you where you are. You're not coming to meet us. That's what coming here is for. And I think that's the main point of this video. You should not have to feel like you have to have worked in these huge theaters to make it to the places that you want to go to, especially if you worked in smaller places, or not even small, but small to the outside world, but it's big to you, and you created impact there, and you did great things at that space. I had callbacks to all the top schools. I was a finalist to Yale, Carnegie Mellon, of course Northwestern, which is the #1 directing program in America. Just want to let y'all know. Ohio University, FSU's film school, Penn State, UCLA. The list goes on and on and on. And of course, I landed here at Northwestern. But a huge part of that journey when I was on some of those callbacks, I will be in rooms with people that had already had their Broadway debut. I was in rooms with people who I recognized their face and their name. And immediately I was just like, my little Hamilton Jr., my little thespian competition things, my variety shows with my kids, that's not going to cut it in the rooms with these people. But then what I saw when I saw some of these people work, why was I scared of going up against them? And my work is really competitive next to theirs, and a lot of times, quiet as kept, much better. And a lot of times we have this fear that we're not going to make it into these places, because our skin color looks a certain way. We feel like we're not going to make it into these places because, they're only looking for a certain type of thing. We feel like we don't even have the ability to go to these places because, oh my God, it's Yale. Oh my God, it's Carnegie. Oh my God, it's Northwestern. It's this, that. These schools are so expensive, which is true. These schools are expensive, but not for you if you get your MFA, girl. They're free and they pay you to go there. And think about if you just knew that, how your life will change and things you'll be doing and the rooms that you will be in. But yeah, that's pretty much it in this series. I'm just going to sit here and we just going to have conversation. We going to talk about what it's like to be Black in these spaces, what it feels like to audition for these schools, how the audition process works, how many times sometimes it takes for you to apply to get into these schools. Some people are much luckier than others. The work you do, the people you meet, the opportunities you get to do, on and on and on and on and on. And moreover, just letting you know, yes, you, Black person watching this, that you can do it. You can do it. And the opportunities are out there, and don't give up on your dreams. Because the second you give up on your dreams, it could have been right there on the other side, but you would never know because you gave up. Anyways, typical YouTube thing. Like, comment, subscribe, but moreover, share to people, especially people that may be on this journey, that may be struggling, and they need to hear words like this so they can just keep on swimming. All right, bye.